Ow. And welcome to yet the rearrival of another beneficial episode of R&R. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Yeah. I'll try to give it a second to get people up in here, but until then, let's get a couple of infomercials out there. I mean, today's episode is brought to you in part by Kicks, the urban shoe brand, brought to you by yours truly. Check it out in the thumbnail. I'll leave a link in the description box. And also, the Velvet Tiger. Now, the Velvet Tiger is a dispensary out here in Oklahoma City. And if you're out here visiting, go get them a holler. Have your medical marijuana card in pocket, okay? Have that together. And if you let them know that Jamerson sent you and give you a free pre-roll with your order, we ain't got to the point where we got coupon codes or codes and shit like that. Yeah, but we getting there. We on our way. We heading there. Don't even trip. All right, bet. So today's episode is entitled, "Is Easter Just Another Pagan Holiday?" I mean, what's with this? Look, and I hope that y'all not getting tired of me sounding like I'm some kind of, I don't tote myself as a preacher or nothing like that, right? But I be just as shocked as everybody else when I hear certain stuff, because I've been thinking that things were on the up and up for years, but they keep finding ways to hide, or have found ways to hide, paganism in our celebration of our Lord and Savior, man. Now, I'm not necessarily the churchiest Christian you'll ever meet, and there's a reason for that. There's no excuse. But with things like this, it's like, why am I hearing this from the internet? Why isn't that my spiritual leader aware of these things? Why haven't they told me that? Why? What's going on? Why are they just going along to get along? You know what I'm saying? If they're supposed to be my spiritual leader, I would imagine that they have done the research. But let me take a couple of steps back, because with this new information age, a lot of this stuff is just at the tip of my finger now. I just have to type it in. But before now, maybe this thing wasn't so easy to come across. But if you call yourself a theologian, a theologist, you study theology. You know what I mean? Like, y'all didn't come across none of this in y'all studies? I keep telling y'all, time and time again, these ministers they just tiptoeing around the Bible to the parts that they feel like is cool, but they not really getting down to the nitty gritty, man. And this is why I kind of keep myself out of some of these church houses, because I'm not trying to get led to hell because you don't know what you talking about. You got me worshiping Baal. Why? Why haven't you let me know that this is what's going on, man? Is the Spirit not letting you know that this is happening? Are you not tapped in like that? At any rate, so, I'm finna give it to you raw now, because you might have heard it here first. And, shout out to all the ministers that they just ignorant and you don't know. But for those of you who know, man, hey, you getting held accountable. You understand what I'm saying? And I really have issues with the Catholic Church, because they got stuff to hide. And if you Catholic, more power to you. But I could never get down. And because it's to a point where I couldn't even find myself playing around with that. At any rate, I'm finna go right into it. We got some other stuff that just broke through on the news side of the game. We're gonna get into that too. Give me a minute. Let me get through this, because this is, I gotta be about my Father's business. We gotta handle that first. Then we can talk about the little, the other stuff that you came here to see and hear about. Okay? All right, bet. So, bunnies. What's up with the bunnies and the eggs? Huh? What does that have to do with Jesus Christ at all? You know what I'm saying? Like nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I mean, you'll have to excuse my language. Throughout this encounter, you're going to hear me. Maybe I'll use a few swear words. I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum, you know, for my listening audience. Because some of you out there who are a little bit older and more prestigious, that's the Capital Letter Club. Shout out to y'all. And shout out to the Rain Gang, too, for those of you who may have just came into the understanding that this is going on. We've been consistent. This is the third season. It's been happening. So, you know, welcome to all the listeners under the sound of my voice this evening. So, listen. Bunnies and eggs have nothing to do with God. Nothing to do with Jesus, I mean. It's all... Nephew, what's happening? It's all about this, apparently, some fertility goddess from an Assyrian Babylonian influence, right? The goddess's name is Ishtar. Ishtar was a fertility goddess of the Babylonian religion, which rabbits and eggs are a symbol of. And, you know, Jesus simply co-opted into a pagan celebration in order to cover its pagan origin in order to continue Babylonianism, which I don't think is a word, but, you know, there you have it. Voila. Babylonianism. In plain sight. It's being practiced still, and it says in the word that this is still being practiced, and it's apparently via the Catholic Church. Get a bar of that. Now, I mean, I'm not one to, you know, point fingers and none of that. Who doing what, whatever. I'm just trying to let you know that if you celebrating this Easter egg hunting thing, you definitely going the wrong way. And if your minister haven't told you that, you heard it here first, right? Now, apparently, spring marks the birthday of Tammuz. Tammuz was basically the son of Nimrod. Now, if you know any Bible, you know that Nimrod was, you know, over the construction of the Tower of Babel. And, you know, God had to strike those individuals down that was constructing the tower because he sent some angels down there and seen if they would accomplish whatever they set their mind to. I mean, the Passover is for God, right? 29, what's up? The Passover is for God because, you know, and then it's I forget the name of the holiday where you know, in Scripture where Jesus was celebrated. I mean, we call it Easter because we Christian. In Judaism, I think it would be called something different. But Easter itself ain't necessarily bad, but the things that they are using to represent Easter are of pagan origin, which is kind of messed up. It's like these half lies that they keep throwing out there, and it's crazy, man. But yeah, so Tammuz, spring marks the birthday of Tammuz. Tammuz is the son of Nimrod, and when, of course, Nimrod had a wife or a lady. Tammuz also goes by the name Horus and Baal, but this is because when they divided the tongues after they hit the tower, all these different nations still called these individuals by different names. But these are some of the names that he has also been called by. And the queen of Babylon's name was Semiramis. I'll make that way more difficult than it had to be. Forgive me. Semiramis, or the mother of heaven. And because Nimrod passed, or in Nimrod's passing, she was kind of trying to keep her, you know, her power intact. She basically lied and said the child that she was having was of immaculate conception, which basically like he was reincarnate of Nimrod, and in a way because it's his son, but it wasn't nearly as miraculous as she was letting off to be. And, she later gave birth to him and actually ended up marrying her own son, claiming that he was the the reincarnation of Nimrod. And this is some freaky, nasty, crazy stuff, man. But this is what this lady pulled. I mean, and then they also told this story several different ways in several different languages. I think in Buddhism, in Egypt, all these different, they kept telling this story, and they changed a little bit every time, but that was basically what it was. Basically, you know how the devil do. He tried to shortstop God, so he tried to get ahead of God, knowing that this was about to be something God was about to pull later. And now when Mary came out, this was kind of, something to kind of dilute that. And this is, it didn't work, but I mean, Easter is for Jesus. That's what Easter is about. Here in America and in other countries, because this was going on apparently before Jesus was even born. They was doing this egg thing where they colored eggs and things like that. But, with the help of the Catholic Church, this thing has become something that we as Americans and Christians have also embraced. Because, and I say the Catholic Church because, the Catholic Church talk about things like Good Friday, when in fact, that's not 3 days. In the Bible, let me see where it says. In Matthew 12, the Bible says that Jesus spent 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth after his crucifixion, right? But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's maybe 2, because, in Judaism or Jews, whenever the night comes, that's the beginning of the next situation. You know what I mean? But it said for 3 days and 3 nights. So in fact, let me see. The explanation of this is, their explanation is that in Mark 15:42 it said that Jesus was buried in the evening before the Sabbath, and the Jews' Sabbath started on Friday night, which for the Jews basically Saturday morning, because the day ends at sundown, right? Except in John 19:31 says that this Sabbath was his high Sabbath, was the high Sabbath of the Passover, not the weekly Sabbath, in the year on the year that Christ died. And the high Sabbath took place on a Thursday, would make Wednesday the day Christ was crucified, died and buried on Wednesday. So Thursday night and Thursday day makes 1 day, right? Friday night and Friday day makes 2 days, and Saturday night and Saturday day makes 3 days, and 3 days and 3 nights. On the early morning of Sunday, while it was still dark, the stone of Jesus' tomb was already rolled away when Mary found it empty, and that Sunday he appeared to his disciples, and that's why we celebrate Easter Sunday. You know what I mean? That's the reason for the season. Because he died and was brought back to life on the third day. He rose. But, so the ancient Babylonian religion is still kept strong today via the Catholic Church, where they worship that pagan god S3, which is another name for the lady, and a.k.a. the Queen of Heaven, a.k.a. Mary, which would explain a lot of why they kind of hold Mary in such high regard, because I've always wondered why tote Mary around? Why tote Mary around so highly? When it clearly states in the word not to have a graven image of God, they got this big gold Mary. It don't really make a lot of sense to me. So I could never really get down with the Catholic Church. They're very, very religious, and us as Christians have to remain spiritually led and not become people who are religious, which means they just do things out of habit. We go to church. You might not never even go to church throughout the year, but you're going on Easter Sunday, right? But I need you to understand that if you are allowing your children to participate in some of these, these Easter bunnery, Easter eggy, because it's really all about the kids, and it's all about us. We have to, he said, and all you're getting, get an understanding, and we're going to get that together and then we can figure out where we need to go. Because, you know, some of us have to unlearn a lot of stuff. We just be kind of doing stuff, man. And I kind of, like I said, you got to hold the ministers accountable, which it ain't necessarily my job to do so. My job pretty much is just to kind of enlighten you and letting you understand that we going the wrong way if that's where you're going. We gotta take some steps back, change the direction, and maybe do a 180 and figure out how to get this thing right. But that's all I'm gonna do with that, because we got a few other things to touch on, and it's been kind of a wild one, right? All right, so in everyday news, right? Everyday news, we know that there are 3 consumer credit bureaus, right? And this is some game for you. I don't know how helpful this will be altogether, right? Because it is a way to get this secret credit bureau, you know, figured out. I won't go too much into that part, but I want you to understand that there is some other secrets going on that you might not be aware of. Now, the 3 credit bureaus that you are aware of, if you're not, there are 3 credit bureaus that you report to, and this is on the consumer side of the game. And that is the Equifax, the TransUnion, and the Experian, right? Whenever you have a car, or you buy a car, or you do this, or you consume that, or, you know, your credit, all your credit, you have 3 different credit reports that you have. And this will make you have your credit score, right? But there's a secret one that you may not be aware of, and this one is crazy. I mean, like, it's extensive to the point where it's like it has everything you've ever done in this, and this is what they use to kind of figure out what's true and what's not when it comes to you. And it's called the LexisNexis. So, this is what's probably killing a lot of people. I didn't even know what this was until recently. I just found out what this is. So I have to figure out how it can be changed or modified in order to get some of the older things off. Because this thing, a lot of these credit bureaus only go about 10 years. This one goes back forever. It's like, it's anywhere from 50 to 300 pages long if you're up in age like that. And it just has everything from the house, the house you rented or living in or own, what the building materials are, what kind of air conditioning units you have, the HOA fees you've incurred, your phone number, your address, any email address you've ever had, any of the addresses you ever lived in, vehicles you ever had, insurance policies, VIN numbers, type of licenses you've had, whether it be drivers or marriage. It's like whether it's been provoked or revoked or not, speeding tickets, misdemeanors, felonies, it's got all of that in there. And it doesn't never really fall off. These other ones, they go back maybe 10 years. But this one here, so, I mean, like I said, I'm here to give you the information. You can look up some YouTube videos on how to get this thing under control so that you don't have all this old stuff working against you whenever you go out for these business loans, etc., etc. It's crazy how much we don't know. You know what I mean? But that's just kind of one to grow on, right? And some other news, and this is kind of, to me, a signal of like a system failure. We have 3 adolescent bank robbers in Houston called the Little Rascals is what they've been deemed. Now, I don't know if you heard about this, but in Texas, actually, Houston, Texas, to be more specific, there was an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 16-year-old that robbed a bank with a note. Now, they were arrested early last week for robbing a bank with a note for an undisclosed amount of money, and they were considered armed and dangerous. So, the 16-year-old might actually get charged as an adult because the other 2 are so much younger, but they're so young. What are your thoughts on something like that? What does that make you think about? Because it's like, are you that criminal, or are you just that thirsty for money because you need it? I mean, where are the parents? How is it that your kids then came up with some plot to rob a bank and you're not aware of that? I don't understand. But that's just something that we need to kind of address. You need to make sure your kids are, go through their shit. Okay, they don't have a privacy. I mean, they don't have any privacy, and this is something that you have to constantly be checking on your children to make sure they're not into no bullshit, or they're not hanging with no bullshit individuals. Because to me, I mean, it's gonna look like the 16-year-old was the head honcho because he's the oldest. But I mean, come on, man. Who was looking for 11 or 12 and a 16-year-old to come into a bank and rob it? And they got the money, but they got caught. And it's kind of sad. That's all I really got on that one. So we're going to hop into the celebrity spotlight where we have Oprah Winfrey and Ellen DeGeneres are getting backlash like crazy for their endorsement of an anti-aging beauty cream called Abortalife. What? Abortalife? Which uses aborted fetal tissue as its main ingredient. A spokeswoman from the Planned Parenthood states that if the mothers don't want the babies, we might as well use it for mankind. What? What? So you that desperate to be beautiful that you gonna use aborted facial and baby tissue to kind of keep you from aging? Whose idea was that? Who signed off on that bullshit? I mean, is that what they was planning on doing the whole time with the aborted fetal tissue? But it's bad enough that the baby died, and they like, well, we might as well use it for to do something with the baby. The mamas don't want the babies. That's not what this is supposed to be about. I mean, they getting a lot of backlash. There is a hashtag called boycott Abortalife. And what kind of name is that? You couldn't even been clever enough, to hide the fact that it's Abortalife. That was very unoriginal. Very, very unoriginal. Anyway, okay, so we've got that done. We got that out the way. And then, all right, so K Dot and J. Cole. K Dot got at J. Cole and Drake with a new verse that was on the Metro Boomin's little mixtape that just came out, man. And I mean, I think the late last year, J. Cole and Drake kind of had like a mixtape or a song together, a project together, and they mentioned, or I guess K Dot felt like they mentioned him in that. They called themselves the Big Three or whatever, and they was just saying that they was better than K Dot, and now K Dot came out with something that was kind of vicious. I mean, he was angry, you could tell, and Brad's supposed to be like a black Israelite, but I mean, he went in, and I think it's good for the game to hear individuals kind of establish themselves. I mean, because it's been kind of lame lately, and it's getting kind of weak, and I can't agree with the fact that hip hop is dead, but this is a critical element of hip hop, and it could be something that is brought to light. Now, I didn't speak on the fact that Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion had their little thing going on, because Meg Thee Stallion took it to a different level, and I don't necessarily agree with that. And that's valid. They just, the ladies, they got their little spouse, and they have to get it out too. But this one was one that kind of caught my attention because, although I don't rock with Drake, and I've been kind of, not really dealing with J. Cole as much. I mean, I like the idea of K. Dot coming back to life on this level. You know what I mean? So go ahead, bro. Do your thing. Establish yourself. But almost don't count. But let's take a look at Jules right quick. I don't know if y'all remember, but there's this dude named Jules Santana that is, Jules. Wow. Jules is out of there, man. Jules, I think, is out of there for a lot of reasons. I seen him for a while with his grill missing. I think he got his teeth fixed, but he did an interview on Art of Dialogue where he addressed Mace's and maybe Cameron's statement that, you know, he didn't live up to his potential because he was lazy. And that might be something I'm inclined to agree with, because the way he was sounding on there, it didn't really sound like his excuses was adequate. I mean, you know, but at the same time, he didn't sound like himself at all. Brett sound like a dope fiend in remission. Like he just, you know, he could like relapse any moment, or he might have relapsed a little bit because of the statements and how they hurt him. But his explanations just wasn't. I mean, he was talking about how, you know, mixtapes was more lucrative, and he could have been. They was toting him around like he might have been the next Jay-Z, et cetera, which ain't really that much to me. I really rocked with Cam a little bit more. At the same time, I mean, he damn near made Dipset look bad with how he look now and how he running around like he about to ask a nigga for some change. That's how he look on the interview, bro. It just looked bad, bro. I mean, he had on a lot of colors and shit, and I'm pretty sure he was feeling himself, but they say cocaine is a powerful drug, and that's just, I'm not saying he on cocaine, and I haven't this thing, you know, I'm alleging that he might have been on drugs. I don't know what drug he was on. I don't know. Allegedly he was on drugs, but it's something don't look right, bro. It don't look right. It don't look right. It don't look good. It's not a good look at all. And you know, that's pretty much all I got for that portion of it. But let me see. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, we got some something out on Worldview, right? And Worldview is it's this thing out in Bogota, Colombia. It's this new drug. Now I know y'all probably hear me talk about drugs a little bit, and I'm not necessarily one to be trying to, you know, but I gotta give it to you here first, man, so you kind of be up on game. Because there's some weirdos out there, and I'm not telling you this to beat on no weirdo shit. I'm just telling you to look out for the fact that this shit is out there, and I don't want you to be a victim, because we got some breaking news that just came out not too long ago, and I'm trying to, you know, make my way down to it. But right now, in Bogota, Colombia, home of the most dangerous drug in the world, is this shit called Boondanga. Boondanga. And it's also known as the devil's breath. Yeah, pretty powerful stuff. It's the source of scopolamine. Yeah, scopolamine, which is like the worst roofie you could ever take times 1 million. Now, basically, this shit robs you of your free will while you own it, but you're still awake, and you're at the mercy of a person that could be like, you know, take me to your ATM, or hey, come with me to my hotel room, all while you're completely conscious and articulate and compliant. It robs you of your free will, and so to anyone watching you, you're completely fine, but you've lost control of your own actions. I mean, you know, and you're at the whim of suggestion. I mean, let's go through a couple of stories, right? Miss Hecker, what's happening? Welcome. All right, so we on Worldview right now. We're talking about the most dangerous drug in the world. It's called Boondanga, right? Which basically leaves you to where you can still operate and function, but you won't remember what you did. And here's a story, right? One of the stories is run from you waking up with a sign saying that you have a vital organ missing and you have 5 hours to get to the hospital. I mean, it's of course been used as a day rape drug. And another story where a guy woke up to an empty apartment, where he was told that he escorted a couple people up to his apartment, told the doorman that these were his friends, and helped him carry all his furniture to a truck and load it up, but later didn't remember a thing. What kind of drug do that? That shit crazy, right? Oh, it's good to see you too. Right, but this boondogger shit, aka the devil's breath, I haven't heard any cases of it being out here in America yet. But who's to say? You know? Who's to say? Last week we had Frankenstein, which is like 1,000 times worse than fentanyl, and now we got boondogger. So, I mean, the game hasn't really stopped as far as drugs. I just need y'all to understand that this shit is out there, and this ain't for y'all to go out there and try to get no money with it. This is for you to understand, like, you know, watch who you kick it with. You know, watch for signals that, you know, there's some creeps out there, right? And speaking of creeps, we got some breaking news that just hit on Weirdo of the Week. You know, we got the celebrity edition of Weirdo of the Week. Don't be a weirdo, right? Now, don't be a weirdo. This edition of Don't Be a Weirdo. We got breaking news now. Puff Daddy, or P. Diddy, just got both of his houses raided in L.A. and in Miami. Why? Why is he getting raided? Because he a freak. Man, I done heard some shit recently about how he was probably grooming young Justin Bieber, and I think he might even have a little thing going on with French Montana. And he was also maybe groomed, if not just trained by Clive Davis. And when we was talking about old Santana, you know, Santana was talented, but I mean, I guess Clive Davis was telling Puff Daddy that, you know, or Puff Daddy was, and this is Jaguar White talking about this, because Tupac, I heard, put a hit on him. Oh yeah? Well, I'm hearing him and they must have had that in common, because apparently Tupac got a hit put on him by Puffy and Biggie, or if not just Puffy. And, you know, that might come up in court too, but I mean, I think he getting raided because, you know, this sex trafficking thing that he got looming. I mean, he even got his kids in on it, bro. His kids handcuffed right now. Yeah, the little light-skinned one, that's, I think it's Al B. Sure's son, for real, was kind of maybe helping him get some of the younger girls involved. So, bro about to probably go do some time. 50 on his ass about it, because that ain't something they do. They're not finna come in there and get you, and they don't really got no case or no evidence, man. They want to go in there and figure out whether he got some sex tapes and shit in there. And if he do, it's over for him. It's over for him. He probably should have went ahead and went out there with Russell and got out the way, but you know how it is, man. You never can have enough. You can't have just one. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it lit. You know, you got the little girl that he had settled out of court for, and after that, he probably should have got missing. But, you know, he probably don't want to look guilty, so he stayed around. And, you know, it's just kind of sad, like you got your kids handcuffed right now. But yeah, I mean, we've been hearing ladies like Miss Jaguar Wright or whatever talk about how he was apparently maybe groomed, or if not just trained by Clive Davis on how difficult it is to deal with talented artists and how they can get the talentless. They want these talentless individuals because the individuals that are talented are too hard to deal with. They don't necessarily be trying to hit deadlines because they be want this and they want that, you know, and the diva shit. But the untalented individuals, they need them. They need the record label in order to push them up and make them something. And so they are very cooperative because they couldn't have made it without them. And so this is what we got going on. When you in the industry of weirdos, this is what you're going to turn into, I guess, man. Justin Bieber, you know, you might not know this, but, you know, Justin Bieber is out the game or been out the game for a minute. And, you know, he came back talking about he a Christian now. And that's cool. But, you know, when he was out there at the Super Bowl, I think Usher was trying to get him to come perform, and he was like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why, man. Because it's like, what price are you willing to pay? Some of these people, they want to be stars so bad. I was listening to a story about some I think some content creators that had packed up and moved out to LA, and they actually got invited to one of these parties that they be going to, and it was like this special invitation about a descent, and they went to 5 or 6 different rooms, and on the 6th room, this dude apparently had backed out, but they had to go with tuxedos and a little mask to cover a quarter of their face, and they can basically still tell who the celebrities was that were in these places. But these people have been, they grew up watching these people, so they want them. It's like the perfect peer pressure. You know what I'm saying? They doing these weird handshakes with the dude where they putting this like their thumb into the man's palm, but in between his thumb and his index finger, and who knows what that means. But the dude just got up out of there, and one of his partners was telling him not to go to the party because he basically ended up having to leave L.A. because they was in his shit. They was trying to make sure he wasn't gonna tell what he had seen. But it's just what do you do? You know what I mean? Cat talking about you got to tell Puffy no because you got to mind your wants because somebody wants your mind and apparently your ass. Because wherever the mind go, the ass got to follow. And if you you want what he got, he gonna make you swallow. You feel me? And it's just you got to kind of get out here and do what you got to do, man, without taking these handouts, man. Because like I said, on the last episode, you gotta learn how to despise the free lunch break because they gonna offer you something, and you can say that you want what they giving you, but you ain't gonna want the strings that's attached. Peace out, play what's happening, man. Yeah, man. Look, we're just talking about Puff Daddy right now. Puff Daddy ass out here about to get arrested. Yeah, it's all over the news right now. He live getting arrested. Kids is being handcuffed, all that shit, bro. Because he on some sex trafficking weirdo shit. And like I said, he didn't got young Bieber at a young age out here turned out and trying to get his life back together, devastated. I don't know what's going on with French. I heard he had French Montana. He got pictures with Puff. With Meek Mills. He catching these cats that need help. You know what I mean? I don't know what he did to old Farnsworth Bentley. He probably was freaking him. Got him walking around with umbrellas and shit. He's like, I'll change your life. You know what? No, thank you, bro. I'm good. But he didn't name the little one of his Ciroc flavors out there, French. I think he called it French vanilla or something. He didn't freaked off with him, and this is all alleged because I can't tell you whether this is true or not. But you can scour the internet, see the pictures, and see how he looked. He dressed the same with Meek. What grown man wearing the same clothes as another man, bro? I'm gonna take you shopping, daddy. Nigga, happy birthday and all that shit, bro. Hey, man, chill. But anyway, it looked like he about to go down. It looked like he had French possibly, allegedly, and then he passed him off to Cuba Gooding Jr. Apparently, allegedly, Cuba Gooding Jr. a freak too. They all out here freaky, man. It's crazy, bro. But when you think about the meaning of Hollywood, like Hollywood, I guess it's like one of them witchcraft things. Like we was talking about earlier, this whole thing, bro. It's all about like these ritualistic bullshit individuals who, instead of working to get what they want an easy way out. There ain't no easy way out, bro. It ain't no easy way out. It ain't really nothing new under this old sun. It's all happened before. And, you just going to have to get it out the mud like everybody else. They're really, really trying to do something instead of hoping that you get a fast track to it. It ain't no fast track, bro. You got to put 5 years in. Do what you got to do like we doing right here at R&R. I ain't getting introduced to y'all by nobody in the industry or nothing. I appreciate y'all coming in here. And it's been a process, man. It's 3 seasons. And, every week it's a challenge to get in here and give y'all these. But I got to do what I got to do, man. I'm trying to keep from having to do little algorithmery, situations to get it to where it need to go, where I'm getting the views that I want to get. But it ain't really, it's all about integrity, man. It's not like I'm just going to do whatever to get views. I don't really necessarily give a fuck about how many views I'm getting. I would love to get 1 million views. I would love to be able to touch 1 million different people and help a bunch of different people. But if I can just help one, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I get people getting at me like, you need some more You need some more fans, man. You need some more. You need to get some more views, and I mean, yeah, that's all well and good. But again, I'm not view hunting. I'm not doing this for views. I'm not a view whore. You know what I'm saying? But I do. I'm like anybody else. I want to be successful at what I'm doing. But my idea of success is being able to get one or two of y'all, maybe 3 or 5 or 50 of y'all to come in, you know, get entertained, but actually get some game and go out in your life every day throughout the week and move smoother because of what you heard here. You know, prevent somebody from getting raped or hurt or, you know, killed off. King XYZ55 was happening, man. Welcome to R&R. So listen. Last but not least, we got Who Got Active. Now, on this edition of Who I Got Active, the activated individual of the week is the Long Beach Police Department's first black helicopter pilot by the name of Michael Colbert. Now, Michael Colbert is our activated individual of the week, but Brett been getting hit with racial epithets and things like this all his entire time at the police department for over 3 decades. And he just now decided after he retired that he want to sue. And they really wasn't trying to fuck with him. I mean, you know, because it's way past the statute of limitations on this. I think the statute of limitations is like 2 years. Brett's been 28 extra years you've been getting hounded and clowned. And look, I'm glad that it finally got to this point and you got what you're trying to get, because they end up selling out of court for like $500,000, which ain't necessarily nearly enough for all the suffering that you endured, bro. But they damn near wasn't gonna give you that. I don't know what happened to make them change their mind, because at the end of the day, they could have just denied it and kept it lit because it's been too long, right? But they gave you some bread, and I'm glad you got it. But for y'all out there, if you're getting misused, mistreated, and abused, don't wait 30 years to do something about that shit, okay? As that shit don't make no motherfucking sense. At a certain point, it's like, do you like that shit? Do you need the money that bad? Why you ain't got you another job? Why you ain't moving around? You think you can't get as much money as you getting there? Are they paying you that good? Are you just, I mean, you know, if you a helicopter pilot, bro, you could take that skill anywhere. You ain't got to necessarily be or stay in Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? Again, shout out to him. And I'm glad that everything worked out for him. But I don't think I could have dealt with 30 years of shit that I can't deal with. Motherfuckers calling me niggas and shit all the time. And I mean, at a certain point, like, I mean, I understand back in early 80s, you know, it might not have been as easy to do a lot of stuff that we're able to do now. But at the same time, with the spirit that I got, bro, I've been in quit or something. I can't be in that for a long time. I've been in hurt somebody or got, you know, in trouble or something. I'm not finna do that, bro. Somebody gonna have to understand that this ain't cool. And, you know, I don't necessarily consider myself the whistleblower type altogether, but I would have damn sure waited. I wouldn't have waited 30 years to do it if I was intending to do it anyway. Well, let me wait till after I quit. I mean, maybe that was a smart move because you like, if I do that, I'll never work in this town again. And you love flying helicopters for the police. That's what it is. Maybe you should have went to a news channel and tried to fly helicopters for them. But the first black helicopter pilot, that is kind of saying something. Because, you know, Brett might actually double as our Now Flowers recipient also, because, I mean, you know, the first to do anything is also special every time. But damn, I mean, they really did a number on that boy. I can't believe that he waited 30 years to do something. But I mean, it's better late than never. So in closing, right, I'm gonna have to get up out of here because I got a lot of stuff still going on. But I appreciate y'all, you know, giving me the time that y'all gave me, man. It's Jamerson Ballard signing off, and I'll catch y'all next week. Have a great one.